Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Arc. I'm here again with Sully this week. You said, yeah, I bet you guys were thinking at home they didn't do one on Wednesday. What are they on about? Weekly episodes. What are they on about? No, no,
They're
no.
liars.
No. We are here doing the weekly episodes. We couldn't do Wednesday, unfortunately, but we've found a way to fit one in on a Thursday, which is when we're recording. Hopefully, we'll get it out on Friday, which is when the first episode of this new season came out too. So technically, we are keeping in with the weekly theme.
We're
Now,
doing well. We're doing well.
we'll hopefully try and keep this up for the whole season. Again,
I'm jinxing it.
apologies that this isn't live. So we have busy lives. We do. And we haven't had much time to fill about of it yet. So unfortunately, we are just gonna keep this as close to being live as possible, like the last episode. But as like last episode, you can see as we start face cams, we haven't got rid of that. And also like last episode, I'm with Sully.
Back again.
So how have you felt that the last week in the NBA has gone?
I feel like the season's starting to flow a bit better,
Yeah,
how it should, how we thought it would have, like, at the beginning.
yeah,
Things are starting to fall into place the way they should.
yeah.
A few teams still slipping, a few teams still surprising us in good and bad ways. A few players still surprising us, but I think compared to the first week, it's starting to fall a bit into the shape that it's supposed to have.
Yeah, definitely. And
Mm.
I'd say, before we get into it though, if you don't mind liking and subscribing on the YouTube, if you're listening on any other podcast platform, share it out and leave a comment. All that kind of good stuff. Now,
Everything. Show the love.
yeah, like I was going to say,
Mhm.
one thing that definitely has fallen into place this season has been Steph Curry being
Ah,
amazing.
the man, the MVP, the best shooter of all time. He's done it again.
He has. He hit a 50
50-point game.
piece in the last week, and he dropped 10 assists with that as well. He's become the oldest player to do that.
There's levels to this game, Sam. And Steph is he's reaching way above what people thought. To say that people didn't expect, well, not all people, because of course I had high hopes for the Warriors, but to say it's a 50 piece against the Hawks as well, it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And
Did
as
Did you
as of
hit the?
as of
Sorry. Go on.
as of as of recording this, they're 10-1. They have the best record in the NBA, and they don't even have Klay Thompson back or James Wiseman back.
By a landslide as well, they're the best team in the NBA, in my opinion.
Should we just cancel the season? End it.
Like,
That's
I
it.
mean, it's done now.
Go
It's
home.
done. Because when Clay walks in, like they might as well just like finish it. 75th anniversary is done. It's done.
Yeah, definitely. And when it's all said and done, I don't know if it's because I've grown up watching Steph. It's the
Mm.
same with LeBron. I grew up
Yeah.
watching LeBron. I think he's better than Michael Jordan, despite being a Bulls fan. Do you think that when it's all said and done, you're going to be looking at Steph Curry once he's retired? Are you putting him in GOAT conversations?
I mean, you have to look. For me, I know I'm not an old head. I wasn't there in the 90s and the 80s, but there's levels, like I'm saying. Steph is above Magic. The old heads will not be happy about that, but it's the truth. They say who's better, Steph, Magic, Steph. It's Steph for me all day long.
Hmm.
And of course, he will never be like truly a part of like the GOAT conversation. But it's like you can't really argue it if you put him in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get you. I mean, I can't argue with it either, if I'm honest with
Like
you.
it's one of them. You won't agree with it, but you can't exactly like. It's hard to argue against it. For example, the main three goats in the conversation is always going to be, for me anyway, Kobe, MJ, LeBron. But you can't not throw Steph into the top five mix here and there now. Like it's hard to argue against it.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I'd put out there, though, at the moment, the Warriors, they do have the best record in the NBA. Have they played enough good teams yet this season to justify being at the top. They've played OKC a few times. They've played the Pelicans, the Rockets. Teams that haven't had the best start to the season. Obviously, they've beaten Atlanta.
True.
Steph
They
50
beat
piece.
LA in the first game as well.
They beat LA in the first game, but and Charlotte to an extent. Maybe you gas Charlotte up as a big team, but I don't know, maybe other than them, pretty easy schedule I'd say so far this season. And Memphis, the only other team on their level that we haven't mentioned, and they lost to them. So
True.
maybe you're saying the season is starting to flow, like you said. Teams
Yeah,
are starting to uh, fill in where they probably should be towards the end of the season, but you got to be looking at the Golden State Warriors schedules coming up. They're playing Chicago next.
that's a
Big
big one.
game.
That's a big one for both teams.
Yeah,
Obviously, Chicago are doing it up this year. They're trying to make a statement,
yeah,
but at the same time, Golden State are trying to prove to everyone that they're back.
yeah.
And
Definitely. I'm
it's
gonna
it's
say
one of those.
this time next week we'll be looking at a Golden State side who have played Chicago, Charlotte, and Brooklyn, and that's a tough week
But
in my opinion.
they could easily come out of that 13-1, or at the same time 10-4.
Yeah, you were doing the maths in your head there, weren't you?
I was like, you know what, I got this. But I smashed the
He
maths. I
smashed it.
smashed
He
the maths.
smashed it. Yeah,
I mean, I
Steph
think I
Curry.
think they'll definitely take it against Charlotte, but you never know. Brooklyn, they like to turn up every now and then. Like,
Yeah, and so did Chicago. Really,
yeah, I mean,
a
Chicago are turning up like
yeah,
differently.
yeah.
So
We talked
it's
a
a
lot
tough
about
week for them.
Chicago last time
Yeah,
out.
we'll we'll give them a little bit of a break this time.
Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about Golden State because they also played the Minnesota Timberwolves last night.
Mm.
It's a bad thing. We want to keep going with the Wednesday theme, but here, last night was a mad day in the NBA.
Last night was a crazy day for the NBA. All around, every single game,
Yeah, it was
absolutely
so
unreal.
crazy. There was mad dunks. I remember, like you sent me the
Yeah,
Gary Payton one this morning.
Gary Payton as well. That guy has been, obviously, Clay pointed out first. He showed everyone this guy is mad talented, and
Yeah,
my days
it's
is
kind of mad. Like Golden State have such a good bench as well,
literally
and they still don't even have Clay and
Clay.
Wiseman back.
It's mad that they are like showing people, like, don't sleep on us,
Yeah,
because they've been, obviously, there's been like reason to sleep on them in the, like, obviously last season they were a bit back and forth. Year before, no Steph, no Clay. Now Clay's coming on his way.
mm,
Steph is more heated than
mm,
ever by the looks of it,
mm.
and it just looks like they're ready. They're ready.
Yeah, definitely. But whilst Clay Thompson is out, I think Golden State. If Andrew Wiggins keeps up how he played last night, I
Mm.
think Golden State will be just fine for the time being. He managed to drop a 35-point night, shooting 73% from the field, which is unheard of for Andrew Wiggins when you think
That
about
is
it.
crazy. That is crazy.
He's genuinely he's just not been that kind of guy when it comes to shooting for his
I
career.
mean, he's been an absolute brick merchant for a
Mm.
while. Like, I honestly, when I saw that, I was like, "There's no way." There's, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know if
definitely.
that's subject to poor defending from the Timberwolves. It must be.
Yeah, you got to be thinking so.
It
But
must be.
look,
But
he shot 50% from free, which
at the
is
same
again
time, though, your boy
really good.
Anthony Edwards dropped 48 against them.
Genuinely, he overshadows because the Warriors beat him by
Yeah,
13.
and yeah,
But Anthony Edwards almost dropped to 50 piece as well.
mm.
And look, he's showing so far this season why he should have been Rookie of the Year last year.
Listen, if there was an award for second year, then you never know, he'd be up there. But last year for me, but I mean, he is showing his class,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
his consistency is definitely, like, he's showing people,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you love to see it.
points per game average, almost 6 rebounds average so far this season. You got to be thinking if
Crazy.
he keeps this up, maybe an All-Star appearance or at least in the conversation.
Of course, of course. The thing is, they like to add like second years into the All Star game. They love to
Yeah,
do
they
it.
did it with Zion last year, didn't they?
Yeah, and obviously they, as well with rookies, they like to
Yeah,
the occasional one. I think definitely Lamelo will probably get that All Star appearance just because he
yeah,
has the flair, and they love All
yeah.
Star. They love the flair in All Star game. But with the way he's performing, you can't like say there's not a chance.
No, definitely, and especially
Mm.
with the likes of De'Aaron Fox. He's having a decent season so far.
Yeah,
I've said in the past that I think he should be getting that All Star nod. He hasn't had as good of a season as Edwards so far, but I don't think anyone was expecting Edwards to be coming out like this,
no,
and
no one.
probably at the moment being the Timberwolves' most dangerous player.
I mean, by a landslide, he is right now their best man. There's a reason he's putting up the most minutes in the games because they need him on the
Yeah,
court as much as possible, and it's showing.
yeah, definitely. I mean, but the Timberwolves, they're still not working. They're 3-7 so far this
It's
season.
not looking good for them at
And
all.
look, you've got a relatively decent sized three of D'Angelo, Edwards, and Cat. What's like what's going on?
It's not a bad team per se. It's just not a well working team.
No, we were saying last week, they had the back to back against the Clippers, and
Yeah.
they'd have had a decent chance of winning them 2 games, going positive. Going 5-3. They dropped both of those games. They dropped one of them by 20. It's like they're a
Mm,
very inconsistent team.
100%.
Yeah,
And the Clippers are actually starting to like win games now as well.
I'm telling you, Paul George.
You,
He's once he gets a little bit of help from the likes of Reggie Jackson and
thing is
Eric
that,
Bledsoe.
just as you said that, like the team, I remember last week we were saying that no one's helping him. He's doing everything himself. Now he is getting that help.
Yeah,
I think Reggie Jackson dropped just under, I think it was 30 or 29 points against the Timberwolves. That was 3 or 4 points less than Paul George. So
mm,
his teammates are actually like starting to help him, which is what he needed to get
yeah.
these wins that he is now getting.
Unfortunately, though, you do look at the help that he is getting at the moment, and Reggie Jackson, he isn't someone that you can rely on every single night.
I mean, he's not Kawhi. Simply
No,
to put it, nice and simply, he's not Kawhi.
yeah, and
And
I don't think the Clippers at the moment, they're actually in the top 6 in the Western Conference, which
they
is
have turned it around quite well, to be fair.
mm,
But
and
then that's like saying at the same time Cleveland are also in the top six in the East.
Cleveland have had a very good season so far. To be
They've
fair,
they've they've done something right.
yeah, they're very underrated. Colin Sexton is going to be out injured for the next God knows how long though, which is a big shame for
Mm.
them.
Big L for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
But still a lot of teams that are surprising us. You know, Cleveland being one of those. Another one of those being the Washington Wizards, who at the
Milwaukee
moment,
as well.
yeah, I mean the Wizards at the moment have the best record in the East.
Mm.
Last night they beat the Cleveland Cavs. Kyle Kuzma is clutch somehow.
Kyle Kuzma, I still will never understand what is going on. He must be on something. They need to test him and see because that's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I'm
The-
telling you, Brad Beal has finally gotten some help.
He's unlocked the help himself. He saw Kyle Kuzma and he thought, "What has just happened? Why his partner in crime Russ is gone?" And he thought, "You know what? No, I will do my work." And he's just unlocked Kyle Kuzma's inner Kobe, and
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
out. And he's getting like 20 something points a game. I think he's averaging just under 15, and
Hmm.
it's the help that he needed because last night Kyle Kuzma actually dropped 10 more than Bradley Beal,
Yeah,
which is
you know,
crazy.
like genuinely, he's stepping up, and it's definitely not something that he did when he were at the Lakers.
And he got a chip while he was there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Still, he never even earned it, in my opinion. But now he's starting to earn his money.
Yeah, and you look at the Wizards' schedule. They've been playing against teams that
Mm. Good teams.
you're going to expect them to be up there at the end of the season. The likes of Milwaukee, Cleveland have had a really good start to the season.
Mm.
Toronto, Atlanta, Boston, although Boston haven't had the great start.
Boston have had a really stinky start, but at the same time, they still do have the talent. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, you can't like deny that. But they've they've really been showing like a certain drive, like hunger, that
mm.
a lot of these other teams haven't been showing. For example, Milwaukee, they've been really lackluster. I think they almost thought they might be able to walk through the season.
Yeah.
Like
What's going on? What's going on with them?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, they played the Knicks last night and they won, but
Mm.
the other last week, obviously we had the conversation about the Knicks and Milwaukee game, and I said I think the Knicks were going to win, and they did.
Yeah,
And it's crazy because they didn't just win; they got beaten badly, and it's like you just didn't expect it.
yeah. And then they went and lost to Washington as well. We had like you said, we had those three Milwaukee games in there. We
We
I
didn't expect
predicted
this.
I
We
predicted
did not.
all of them to be Milwaukee wins, and
You
they
did.
only beat they only beat the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was pretty much with all of Philadelphia's starting five out
Mm.
due to injuries and COVID.
I
So
mean, like I say, Milwaukee is mainly the main man, Giannis. He's been putting up numbers here and there, but especially last night, he was almost missing despite the win. I mean, 15 points from him in almost 40 minutes is not great at all.
yeah, and they've been missing Chris Middleton in the last week.
Mm.
There's also still without DiVincenzo, but look, I'm not a big Milwaukee fan. I don't claim that I watch a lot of the Milwaukee Bucks, but I think Middleton maybe, he's probably pretty important. Like
Yeah, of course.
DiVincenzo in my opinion, is just an average shooting guard that he can carry it sometimes, but he's never going to be trusted to carry it.
Yeah, no,
So they're
100%,
probably they're
100%.
probably still going to be playing it through Giannis, but
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
working for him.
I mean, that's what they've always done. They
Mhm.
won a whole championship playing it through Giannis,
Yeah,
and
they've just had such a topsy turvy,
would you say
inconsistent start to the
would you
season.
say maybe they've been found out? Like,
I don't know. Maybe they're finding their feet at the moment. They're 6-6. They're playing 500 basketball through the
mm,
first 12 games, but you compare it to last season when they were just destroying.
yeah, I mean they finished second in the conference, like, and right now they're eighth,
Hmm.
which is crazy. They're underneath New York, who like they've slipped here and there, but at the end of the day, you don't expect that.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I honestly can't see them at the moment. They don't look like they're gonna pick you up. Of course, they more than likely will, but they aren't looking like it at the moment, and it just makes you question: will if they do, when will it happen? Of course,
Yeah,
they've got a run of games coming up. They've got the Boston, which of course Boston aren't exactly playing basketball right now. So
they're playing like ice hockey or
for
something like
real,
that.
they're playing golf. So you expect them to pick up some wins here and there, but they need to really up their game if they want to have a shot of defending their title.
Yeah, definitely, because with the likes of Golden State, and
I mean, yeah,
they're going to be ruthless against these teams.
these guys showing up, these teams showing up that no one expected.
It's not
Washington,
it's
New
not like
York,
last season at all, man.
nowhere near like last season. Last season, it's like everyone almost laid down for Giannis and the Bucks and the Suns as well. To be honest, everyone laid down for them, and now it's everyone's hungry for it. As you can
Mm.
like, when you just watch teams play, you look at the table, you would not expect like Chicago to be second, Washington to be first, New York to be ahead of Milwaukee. You didn't expect Warriors to have 10 out of 11, and it
Yeah,
just shows
definitely.
that these teams are gunning for that title, and if they're not careful enough, then it's gonna be gone.
Yeah. So are you thinking, when we look back at them for next week, obviously, they will have Boston, Atlanta to play for next week if we get the recording done on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
They will have Boston, Atlanta to play. What are we thinking?
I mean, Atlanta have not had a great start,
No.
but that's a game where both teams want to prove themselves and prove that, the beginning of the season has just been a stint.
It's
In
a
my
conference
opinion,
finals matchup, that one.
yeah, it was.
Teams are
But
going to want to...
I mean, Hawks have had a much worse start than the Bucks, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if the Bucks were to get 2 out of those 2, then it would be like big for them. 'Cause
8-6. You're potentially looking at them having the same record as the Sixers, depending on
which is
how
that I
they
mean, that's
advance.
their main competition. That's what it's always been,
Yeah.
and that's what they're looking to have. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks like prove themselves, because they even though they lost to Steph the other night, they still put up like good numbers
Hmm.
as a team.
Yeah. They are currently on a 5-game losing streak. But when you look at the teams that they've played over those 5 games, Brooklyn, Utah twice, Phoenix, and Golden State.
All hot teams right now.
Yeah, definitely. And the game before they played the Wizards, and they beat them. So they are capable of that.
They've
I
got it
I
in them.
will always say that Trey is a pretty inconsistent player
Yeah,
in my opinion.
100%.
He can put up a big night, but then one night he could just go missing.
Yeah,
I do think
and
Atlanta have what it takes to keep it up, though. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting them to be amazing.
yeah, like
They started last season awfully, put in a
yeah.
good run, ended up finishing 5th.
And to be honest, with the way a lot of teams are playing right now, it did seem like hard for them to keep up. Of course, with like the fact that they don't have the quality a lot of these other teams have, and then everyone's turning up.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
you never know as well. If Boston pull out a shock against Milwaukee, then that might give Atlanta a bit more hope, and then you never know. Milwaukee
Maybe.
could be
Yeah.
6-8
Yeah.
by next week.
Which is you'd be looking not even in the playing
Yeah, they'd be
position.
bottom.
They'll be slumming it out with Detroit. Detroit, who potentially, up until last night, had one of
The
the
worst.
worst number 1 picks potentially in NBA history.
It was
Like,
number 1 against number 2 pick last night as well.
it was, and maybe that's what Cade needed to finally show up. A game against the
100%.
Houston Rockets.
100%.
But
I mean,
man, like,
he's not very consistent with it, though, is he?
no, this is his first proper good game, and
Yeah.
what really annoyed me was the NBA. Last night before the game, they released their rookie rankings, and they actually had Cade Cunningham in the top 10 when my guy was dropping like a 20% field goal percentage over his first 3 games as a point guard. Like, fair enough, you dropped 18 and 10 against the Sixers, but when you're shooting 4 of 17, it's
Nowhere near good enough, especially nowhere near top 10. But the thing is, the NBA, they are kind of biased in that way. They're not gonna have their number 1 pick underneath the top 10. They would never do that.
no.
But I mean, he's not shown, except from of course last night. He's not really shown number 1 pick worthy. But you never know. He might turn it around. But at the
Yeah.
same time, he's playing for the Detroit Pistons.
I'm gonna say you look at his shot. You look at how many shots he's been taking. Like, he's been taking close to 20 shots each night, and it usually doesn't happen when you're
a rookie.
a
He's
rookie.
clearly got the confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean,
especially when he keeps missing them. Like,
to, but
I don't know about you, but if I was throwing brick after brick after
I
brick,
would I would stop shooting.
I'd
I'm
be trying to
passing
get
the
someone
ball
else
every
up.
time.
Yeah,
I'm passing the ball every time.
I'd be giving
It's
it
like
to
Russ.
my
It's
two
like
guys.
Russ, isn't it?
He'll be the next Russell Westbrook. That's a good title,
The next Russell Westbrook. But to be fair, when you play for the Pistons, I guess someone has to have the confidence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Maybe it's what Detroit needs, and obviously Detroit won last night.
yeah, I mean, just about. But it was that battle. It was like worst against second worst. Somebody was gonna win,
Yeah,
and
and well,
it's
in the end, Houston one step closer to that number 1 pick next year. But yeah, Cade, he's. Do we think he's going to be keeping this up, or once he actually gets put against half decent teams?
No way.
No
Everyone
way.
has a good game every now and then. You
Yeah,
know, that was just his one. It was just him, like, he thought, okay, that was his time. They were playing the second worst team in the NBA. He thought, if I'm going to get some points, it's going to be this game. And to be fair, he did pick his shots well. He wasn't just shooting for fun.
yeah.
And of course, it showed, but at the end of the day, he's still a rookie. He's still going to have that mindset of, oh, I need to be the best. I need to be the winner. And it is going to be the downfall because at the end of the day, where does he play?
Detroit.
Mm.
No one's winning anything in Detroit at the
If I
moment.
was a basketball player and I got drafted to play for Detroit, I'd learn how to play baseball or something because that's
It's
like his whole NBA career. Everything he did in high school and college is all out the window.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
gone.
Yeah,
Free him.
four games into his NBA career, and we're freeing him. Nah, no chance. Moving on. Moving on to probably one of my favorite stories of the NBA so far this season, and that is the whole Nikola Jokic versus Markieff Morris and the Miami Heat
That was crazy. That was
situation.
crazy.
For those of you who don't know, a couple of nights ago, Nikola Jokic, he just got the ball, he was dribbling it up, just minding his own business. Markieff Morris comes
Just
in,
being the
shoves him.
guy.
What a prick! Just comes in, shoves him.
It was a bit of a light shove though, wasn't it?
Nikola wasn't having any of it though. Waits till Markieff's back's turned, runs behind him, puts a
Put
shoulder
him
in his back,
straight in the ground.
floors him.
The thing is, I think if Jokic was the same size as Markieff Morris, he wouldn't have done much damage. But because he is the size that he is, that's why he was, straight in the ground. But
Ah,
is the aftermath for me?
but
Because
yeah, definitely. Like, because the aftermath. Marcus Morris, Markieff's brother, he tweeted out, "Wait until bro turned his back." Noted. And then for those of you who don't know, Nikola Jokic is a younger brother of two absolute giants.
one who's an MMA fighter, by the way.
Yeah, and apparently, during Jokic's upbringing, they would do like the knife throws, like they put you against a wall and they like throw a
Yeah,
knife
yeah,
at the
yeah.
wall. Apparently, his brothers did that to him. Like
No way.
his brothers aren't people to be messed with.
You
They were
don't play
like,
games with the Jokic's.
and they'd be like, nah, Morris brothers, don't
Yeah,
start anything.
he said something, didn't he? He said like, oh, he basically just said, come outside.
But genuinely, this makes the Heat versus the Nuggets. Their next matchup's gonna be absolute fire if
Mm,
they can
mm.
if Jokic and Morris are still
I mean,
playing.
they will have like come up against each other, but I mean, we all know who's winning that battle. Like,
Hey,
is it really like a question?
yeah, definitely. Like Serbia is Serbia. The power of Serbia
Different.
will overcome the Morris brothers. I think everyone just likes Jokic more as well
Yeah,
because
he is an
a lot.
NBA favorite.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like Marcus Morris because of what he did to Luca in the bubble.
Mm. Even just the Morris brothers aren't really liked as much in the NBA
Nah,
as like other like brother duos have been
yeah,
as well.
definitely.
The
Yeah,
Gasol brothers, of course,
yeah.
some of the most loved. Like they just don't get that type of love.
The Curry boys.
Oh man! But did
Yeah.
you see the picture? All the heat that was stood outside
Oh, I
the locker room.
genuinely just before we came live, I saw
Yeah,
that. I saw that on the
but they were
timeline.
just stood there. Like, see, as I seen a video of this guy who does a lot of basketball talk on TikTok, and he was basically saying how he thinks that they did that on purpose because they didn't want to get like suspensions or anything because it was all the big players. It was Kyle Lowry, but
Mm.
Jimmy, all these guys. They were just also there. See what I'm saying? If that's happened, and they really that angry enough to stand outside the locker room, you really think one guy is in the way of them? If they were that angry, they would have been stepping into that locker room. They clearly were just all talk, in my opinion. They were
Yeah,
not,
definitely.
because
Like
I don't
especially
care.
like even during the game, like afterwards when
Yeah,
Jimmy Butler told Jokic
come
to
outside, come
just
outside.
meet him outside. Nothing was going to happen there, and
Yeah,
Butler got fined like 300K for it.
I mean, but I don't care who you are. Like, you could be my closest friend in the world. If you get sent on the ground by Jokic, I can't lie. I'm stepping back.
Didn't like,
Like,
I'm not getting involved.
I'm not involved in that situation. Have you seen that guy? And then his brothers, they were there as well, like beefing the Heat players. I'm stepping out of that situation. No
Yeah,
chance.
definitely.
Not a chance. But I caught that one. So I actually caught that one live, and I was fully expecting like a big brawl to happen. Like the people start running on Malice in the Palace Part Two. I was expecting it because, like, do you remember? Oh, it was a few seasons ago, Houston, LA. I think it was Chris Paul and someone. It was when Chris Paul played at Rockets, and they were just throwing hands, and like they were catching chins, and then LeBron was like to Chris Paul, "What are you doing?" That was like, I remember I caught that one live as well, and I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be like that again," and then no one did anything.
Nah, because you're not gonna mess with the Jokic brothers.
I mean,
But
never, never.
no, never. This really makes me want a Nuggets Heat finals matchup because obviously they can't meet in the playoffs
Imagine,
regularly because different
imagine.
conferences. They're only going to play each other once more, and it is at the end of this month, 30th of November. Mark it down.
But yeah, I
Big
mean,
game, big
everyone's
game,
gonna watch that game now,
big
aren't they?
game.
Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna watch that game simply for that. Watch
and
one of
then
the.
all of this for Morris to be like rested.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, imagine he's like injured the night before.
he PTSD flashbacks.
Mm,
gives him too much. Can't be it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, me neither. And then, right. So that's whose side would you want to be on? Like, not like taking away the fact that it's Jokic and Morris. Do you think Jokic's actions are justified for what Morris did?
I don't know, man. He didn't really like hurt him. You know what I mean? I think it was just the tension of the game, and he just got a bit ahead of himself. And to be honest, like, I understand why he did it, but at the same time, I'm not gonna. I don't think it's justified
Fair.
because
Okay.
what he like if you give him
Yeah.
a little shove fair enough, or if you just give him some talk,
Yeah.
I think he just did a bit too much.
Yeah. Fair. I'm gonna say he like he did send him for just a little just to push across as he
Mm,
was trying to dribble it up. Obviously, you never know. Something might have been said like before that happened. I mean, I've no idea why Morris would just go and push him for no reason as he's just
yeah.
dribbling the ball up. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
Mm,
Anyway, you mentioned the Lakers before. This is the last thing that I really want to talk about
yeah, that's cool.
this week. The Lakers have had a decent run of games recently.
I mean, they're on 5 in a row right now, I believe.
Really?
I believe so. I might be wrong, but I think that's last night was their fifth win in a row.
Nah, bro, 2 in a row.
Is it? Okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah, but their last 2 wins against Charlotte and Miami have both come in overtime.
Yeah.
And look, that Charlotte game, we haven't talked about LaMelo that much. I'm surprised that it's not the first thing that you said. I was just trying to talk about the Warriors, and you were like, LaMelo dropped a triple-double against the Lakers. Talk about this right now.
Because my number one guy is Steph, but LaMelo does come second. But
Yeah,
like,
LaMelo obviously he hit himself a big triple-double against
mm,
the Lakers. Wasn't good enough, unfortunately.
100%.
That was the game where Carmelo just
Carmelo just heated up.
who said that he was washed? Who said that he was washed?
People were saying it, and to be
Why
fair,
would
at the first few games, he wasn't like the Carmelo that we know and love, but
yeah.
he's heated up now.
I think genuinely for sentimental value, you're looking at him like in the same way that Derrick Rose is being looked at for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Like, he's one of those guys. Like, there's only like a handful of guys in the NBA that people really want to see get a chip, and he's one of them.
Yeah,
Obviously,
definitely.
you've got D Rose, you've got CP3, and then you've got Carmelo.
Hmm. But then obviously we were talking about Miami earlier, and the Lakers. They beat them again in overtime. Russell Westbrook hitting triple doubles in both of those games.
Mm.
I
Yes.
guess when you play for that amount of time and you're Russell Westbrook, if you don't get a triple double, it's kind of
It's
disappointing.
yeah, and he was actually like scoring, which is crazy. I
Yeah,
mean, I think he got back to back points to um almost seal overtime.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
Mm.
probably the first actual clutch performance he'd had for the Lakers. Obviously,
Without LeBron as well,
they're
both
without
games
LeBron at
without
the
LeBron.
moment, and Anthony Davis is he's on his last legs at the moment.
Yeah,
He's trying his hardest. I bet.
he's just there because if he's not there, then those games are not going into overtime.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Anthony Davis, he ain't his best. But Carmelo Anthony, look, maybe you were right. He has come in. He's carrying a scoring load at times.
Yeah, at the moment as well.
Yeah,
But
and
there's a
they
lot
are.
of players that I've not
Yeah,
seen enough from that. Not like for example, Rajon Rondo. Like obviously he's not been getting the most minutes, and he's not really been putting up the most either. I feel like LA just aren't using their like
no,
squad enough
no,
because obviously we know what Rondo can do,
fair. Maybe they're
and
just saving him for the playoffs. So they don't want him to get injured.
maybe I mean we know Rondo in the playoffs is a different guy as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then that puts them to a 7-5 record. Over the next week, they've got Minnesota, San Antonio, and Chicago all at home. You got to be
You
looking at
expect
least
them to get at least two out of those three.
two of those are extremely winnable. Obviously, Minnesota and San Antonio are on a back to back games. Are obviously not ideal
Yeah,
for many games, especially when
especially
you've been going
if
to
they,
so
yeah.
many overtime games.
I was just gonna say if they go into overtime in one of those two games as well, it's not going to be looking good for them fitness wise and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But they are just better
But then they've
than
got
those
a big
teams.
test.
Yeah,
Both teams have a test. Of course, Chicago still
yeah,
trying to prove themselves like that they
yeah,
can
definitely.
compete with the big boys. And if they beat LA, then that's a big statement for them.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be talking about Chicago and the Lakers a little bit. In a little bit. It's one of the main games that we're going to be predicting.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, let's look over what happened in the games that we predicted last week. Um, let's just say I didn't have the best of times. Um, Knicks and Bucks. Yeah, I predicted. Like we said before, I predicted a Giannis MVP kind of game. Didn't
And I
happen.
I was 2 for 2 with that one. I said Julius Randle was about to wet the game, and
Genuinely came through.
he's this season right now he's coming through differently.
Hmm.
It's lovely to see. Obviously, last year's most improved,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's coming with it. He's coming with it nicely.
Hmm. Now I don't know how we're gonna work this, but for Hornets and Golden State, obviously the Warriors blew out the Hornets. But
Yeah,
my boy Miles Bridges, who I predicted was going to be the best, who I was going to predict was going to be the
he did
MVP of the
really well,
game,
didn't he?
he did pull through, but he didn't win.
Mm.
Now, obviously, I don't know how it is. Obviously, in 2K, if you don't win the game, you don't win MVP. Um, so I think I'm on a 0 for
I
that
mean,
one.
I was close to that game as well. I said the defense in that game was going to help them. I was right. I just got the wrong guy. I just
Yeah, I
got the
mean
wrong guy.
Jordan Poole balled out that game.
Mm.
I'm gonna say him and Andrew Wiggins just when they've just been filling it up for when Clay hasn't been
Completely
there.
like flipped the script on their
Yeah,
normal narrative.
yeah. Bucks Wizards again. Predicted a Giannis win in it.
It just didn't happen. To
Hey,
be fair,
my predictions this week.
I think we both
But,
predicted that though.
yeah, but I mean you're 3-0 against me at the moment. We're halfway through. This Atlanta Golden State. Obviously, we've talked about Atlanta Golden State. I did say Steph was gonna do bits in that one, so
You
that's
did, you did, you
get
did.
in 2 for me. But I'm pretty sure you said the same, no?
Yeah, of course I did, man.
Yeah. So I didn't really work, did it? Brooklyn, Chicago. I did say that the Chicago Bulls would win, and they did. Did say that Nikola Jokic, this was going to be his game. He did drop a double-double, but he went 5 and 14 from the field.
Not the best performance from him.
No, big up DeMar DeRozan though. He's been pulling
I
through.
mean, the whole season so far.
Who'd you say for that one?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. But I'll fact check it tonight, and then next episode, I'll remind you.
Definitely, we'll update. I'm pretty sure you've taken this week anyway, so
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I don't think.
We know that one. We know that one.
And then the final game was Philly Milwaukee.
To be honest, I did catch the Phillies and Bucks, but obviously every time that game happens, it's almost it's a fun game to watch every time. It wasn't the best.
I mean, maybe that's because Philly just didn't really have anyone.
Yeah, Philly. Literally, as I was watching that game, I was wondering what is happening to this team.
You were like, this is Andre Drummond, but who else? Where is everyone else?
I mean, yeah, and to be honest, with the coach they have as well, you expect them to doing better.
Yeah. But in the end, obviously, you do have you have taken the first week of predictions. This week will be different. I'm telling you, because I have six more games coming up this week before Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll be recording on Wednesday.
Hopefully,
but you never know. Taking place tonight, so obviously this will have happened before this episode comes out.
Yeah,
is the Suns and Grizzlies. Now these are two teams who, the Suns this week they've been at it this week.
They've been at it. They have been
7-3 record. You can't really ask for much else. I still rate the Grizzlies so much though.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like
they're
a 6-5 record. They're pretty average at the moment, but genuinely, I rate them so much. I think they're such a fun team to watch. Ja
has been this year as well.
Yeah,
and of course, against the Golden State, he was, for me, one of the best players on the court in that game, and that was against Steph. And
so yeah, So I've gone with the Memphis win and the Ja as my best player for that one. What are you saying?
To be fair, as much as I wanted to agree with you, because I do think Ja will have a good game. Of course, I do think the Suns will take it. They've been getting games recently, and I think it will be that game. And I think CP3 recently has been getting not as many points, but his assist tally has been going up like crazy. So I think that's going to be a CP3 masterclass. That one.
Fair. Coming up next, we alluded to it earlier. It's the Bucks and the Celtics, two teams who, you got to be looking at two big monster teams, but haven't had the best starts of the season.
If this was last season, big game.
Yeah, definitely. But this season so far, not so much. Both teams need a win. And I can see it going to Milwaukee. I backed Milwaukee 3 times last week and it only worked once. This is the only Milwaukee game that we're going to be covering though. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I'm not gonna lie. Celtics. I've not seen anything from them recently,
and I've gone with Giannis as my main guy.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, there's not who else can you say is going to be the main guy? Whenever Bucks win, it is always Giannis dropping 25, 30, 35.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Next up, Miami versus Utah. Again, these are few in a conference, the first inter-conference match that we're going to be covering. And again, it's two teams that have had a really good start to the season. The Utah Jazz are just the regular season sweats.
Yeah. But the question is, who have you gone with? Because truthfully, I know that you think that Miami are going to win that game.
I have said that Miami are going to win this game.
I knew you was going to say that.
I've gone with Jimmy Butler as my MVP as well.
You see now, I genuinely do think Utah are going to win that game. I don't know who's going to be the main man. And I'll make a decision right now, just for the, for the sake of competition, let's say.
The tension's killing me.
Well, you know what? I'll 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 keep it like safe. I'll go Donovan Mitchell.
Fair.
I'll go Donovan Mitchell.
Fair enough. Yeah, Miami, Utah, two decent teams. Very underrated. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna be up there towards the end of the season.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
Utah, they do it every year and then they just bottle the playoffs.
Maybe this season they won't. I
Who knows?
don't see him. I don't see him
Yeah,
getting past the second round again.
if we're being real.
Yeah. Bulls Lakers. Talked about it earlier. My team, the Bulls, against LeBronless Los Angeles.
LeBronless. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think LeBron has faith in his own team at the moment. With the way he's there on the side, like it's actually funny to watch. And I mean Caruso against LA.
Oh, he's back.
He's is he gonna heat up, Lonzo against LA, his old team as well?
Yeah, definitely.
And the way, like, they kind of like just sucked him off, didn't they? They was like, yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, a lot of people with a lot to prove. And
I,
what are you thinking?
I think Chicago are gonna. I
Yeah,
don't think they're gonna take it by like a big, big score, but I think they are gonna take it. And DeMar DeRozan, one of my favorite players to watch at the moment, he's gonna be the man. But I think Caruso is gonna do some craziness off the bench.
yeah, me too. He's been doing craziness off the bench.
That's just his thing. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm off the okay, just so you know.
Let's go. Let's go. I've gone with the same. If I'm honest with you, before we started recording, I was thinking maybe this is a Russ game,
I
but
mean, the thing is, with Russ, any game can be his game. He just decides to get like, all right, okay, shall I? We'll see.
I don't know, man. Like Lonzo is a very good defensive point. Caruso is a very good defensive point. I think we have enough to lock him up. So yeah, I've switched my mind. I've gone with DeMar DeRozan. Big game against the Lakers. Utah up again next. Utah versus Philly. Again, these are probably the two biggest. We do it in the regular season, can't do it in the playoffs teams.
Yeah, 100,000%. I mean, Philly every single year, you see Embiid with the waterworks leaving the court, and every time it's either semis or it's the conference finals. Like,
Yeah,
and then there's Utah. They just absolutely blow it out in the season, and then
they just
playoffs,
kind of average.
they just don't know what to do.
Yeah,
And to be fair, I do think Utah are going to take that one. I just think Philly are not
yeah, me too.
even.
Especially given the fact that Philly have a lot of injuries at the moment.
Yeah, true, true that.
Utah they have themselves a pretty easy game in my opinion. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think you're looking at it and you're thinking this is a game that they should be winning. And
Yeah,
because I think it's going to be relatively easy, I've gone with a Jordan Clarkson, uh, best player off the bench. I think he's going to be getting a few more minutes than he's used to, and he is a bucket off
yeah.
the
He
bench.
can, he can, he can be. At times, he knows what he's doing.
So I've
I've,
gone Jordan
I think,
Clarkson.
I think Rudy Gobert might have a nice game.
Yeah.
Maybe
How many?
catch that triple double.
What in blocks? All right.
Yeah, you never know. Rebounds as well. He might be that guy.
Yeah, you never know. And then finally, to round this episode off, it's probably the biggest game out of all of them.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Golden State versus Brooklyn. You got to be
Steph
looking
and
at that as like
KD.
a potential finals matchup.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 100%.
Mm,
I mean, in my personal opinion, Golden State are looking more likely to get to the finals than the Nets anyway. But I mean, Harden, he's been picking up some triple doubles here and there in the last few
mm,
games,
yeah,
and of course, KD is KD, so he just naturally drops 25.
he does. It's
But
like it's his job almost.
I mean,
Funnily enough.
he doesn't know any different. He never has
No.
known any different. He's
Yeah,
one of the greatest scorers of our generation, if
yeah.
not.
I watched them. I watched them against the Raptors the other night.
Yeah,
Genuinely, he can pull it from anywhere, no matter how many people are on him. And like
he
75% of the time, it's hitting the back of the net.
yeah. I mean, he just it's second nature to him. It's first nature.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, the only reason it didn't get to the final last year was because of what that much.
yeah. And because of that, I'm saying the Slim Reaper's going to be pulling the Nets over the line.
Oh no, 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 no! I don't even care about that. Steph is still. It's the golden Steph. It's the golden Steph Warriors. We'll we'll see. We'll see when Steph drops. 45 against the Nets,
Okay.
and then he's like shaking hands with his old mate afterwards. Like, yeah, you left us. Where's your chip? You ain't got it. You know.
I'm thinking a 40 piece for KD.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, a 40 piece
Nah.
for KD, and then a 20-point triple double from Harden.
Whoa! You're saying it's gonna be a blowout? No
I'm not
chance.
thinking a blowout. I think Steph's going to still put. I think it's going to be an extremely close game. I
For
still
real?
think Steph is going to put up, like close to 40, maybe a bit above 40. You never know. Andrew Wiggins,
I
big, big,
think
big Andrew might come through too.
Steph's gonna come through with 30, 40 piece game. I think Iguodala's gonna come and drop some nice little 15, 20 points off the bench, and I think the main man, the one of the coldest defenders to just touch Golden State, Draymond, he's just gonna come and just lock up Harden. He's gonna lock up KD. He's just gonna be like, yeah, you guys you don't got it. Just remember who's the man.
Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt
Nah,
that.
nah, 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 nah.
I'm saying
Just
the Nets are going to pull through, but we will see.
we will.
We will run it through. Obviously, I don't want to take a 2-0 deficit. This is personal now.
It's personal now.
It's personal now. I'm not losing this week. But if you're excited, if you're excited to see what happens next week, make sure you're tuning in. We will be getting another one out next week because we are consistent.
We are very consistent, and believe you me, I will have my Steph Curry jersey out next week when Steph drops that amazing game against the Nets. Believe you me.
I'll hold you to that, man. But anyway, thank you, Sully, again for being with me
Of course, man. Of
for this
course.
episode. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing onto YouTube, as I said at the start. Make sure that you're following. Make sure that you're following us on Instagram. Links in the description. Make sure that you're sharing out if you're listening on any podcast platform. Also, leave a comment. Get involved. What do you want to see from us? We are
Tell
rambling.
your tell your friends. Tell
Yeah,
your friends to tell their friends.
yeah, definitely. We do ramble on a little bit. We're trying to keep it as structured as we possibly can. But obviously, we need some things to talk about. So,
I mean, of course. I mean,
so,
if you want, like, we've given them 2 hour episodes before. Like,
we can do that again if you want. But once again, thank you again, Sully, for being with
of
me today.
course, man.
And
Of course.
we will see you guys next week for another episode of Beyond the Arc. Peace.